Welcome everyone to the show. Welcome to E-MasterCast. I'm Taraz. Today we have a great show for you and a very, very special guest, a friend who's been a friend of mine for the past few years now, from back when I was doing real estate in Charlotte. His name is Jamall Kinard. He's a coach at Independence High School. Has been a mentor for the youth for a long time now as a coach, a teacher, and a counselor at high schools and middle schools all around Charlotte. He's from South Carolina, so he's a local. More than anything right now, what you should check out of his is his new nonprofit. Him and a couple other business partners have started something great in Charlotte, something that Charlotte needs right now, and it's called timetoempower.com, and it's a nonprofit where they put on conferences and events for the youth. Any kids, young men from 7th to 12th grade, and what they're doing is they're teaching them how to be men, productive, acceptable men. You know what I'm saying, in our community. And that's exactly what Charlotte needs right now. Charlotte needs guys like this doing great things locally for their community. And that's why I'm bringing you the show, because I'm bringing you great people locally that you can reach out to and help personally. All right, so a couple real quick before we start the show, a couple things we cover. We cover mentorship for the youth and how you can do it better. We cover his program, the 5 States of Readiness, which is amazing. He goes through that in detail. We cover a lot of things. All right, we cover his 90-10 rule for success. You know, the 10% you can do to get the 90% of the results you're looking for. And you guys are going to enjoy the show. So without further ado, Coach Jamall Kinard.
Jamall Kinard. I do a little bit of everything, man. So I'm a coach here, a baseball coach here in Charlotte. I consider myself a life coach as well. Also do dropout prevention here in Charlotte with an organization called Communities and Schools. I'm a site coordinator at Independence High School. Also work with my business partner, and we are the directors of our own nonprofit, which is Time University. Time stands for Taking Initiative and Moving Efficiently. And our focus is on mentoring young males in grades 7 through 12, and we mentor them on the 5 States of Readiness. And those 5 states of readiness of becoming a man are the spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and the financial pieces that we think that every young male needs to be equipped to be successful in the real world.
So why do you do that? Where's it come from?
I just think it was important, man. Growing up, my dad was a big part of my life, and so many young people that I run into in the line of work that I do just don't have that father figure in their life making a difference. To show them how to change a tire, show them how to, tie a tie, show them how to make quality decisions with their life, about their money, about how to handle their emotions, about the spiritual guidance, about how to stay healthy. They just don't have that presence in their life to show them. Social media is raising a lot of our kids out there, and you know the stuff they get on that, how they portray black males. That's not very positive. Well, majority of it not very positive, and that's what they look at, the majority of the social media and the media out there. So we as an organization, we saw that. Take that back. We as young men saw that and saw that there was a need and created an organization, which is Time University.
So who was your mentor growing up?
And my father, my Uncle Charles, my godfathers, Lee Williams and Wayne Pratt Sr., man, these guys were big parts of my life because I was able to see black males dress in suits on a Tuesday. And it wasn't, growing up where I'm from, Newberry, South Carolina, when they tell you to go get dressed up, most of the people in my neighborhood went and put on an orange suit with some glitters, some crushed velvet shoes, and a nice hat or a Kango. So to see these black males, put on a pair of black slacks, a white shirt, black coat, and some nice shoes, and a leather belt, that didn't have all type of designs on it. I realized that, man, this is who I wanted to be. I want to be able to relate to my people in my neighborhood, but I also want to be the standard for which they choose to strive to. And these young men, they helped me. They helped me to want to do that. They helped me to strive. I got to rub elbows with black millionaires at a young age. I got to see people being motivated about dreams at a young age, so they helped me dream. I got to see my uncle who played pro ball, go for his dream, So I got to see all these different things as a young male that was so inspirational to me that when I looked on TV at Michael Jordan, Ken Griffey Jr., these guys who I looked up to as athletes, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, talking so strongly about what they believe in. I got this presence at home about what they believe in. I got these guys on media who working hard at what they're doing. So of course, everything just came to a head in me, and quotes became a big part of my life. Motivational, inspirational quotes that I heard. Listening to some motivational tapes with my dad when he was striving to build his business. So I had to be around a line of entrepreneurs as black males. And then my mom, she's an entrepreneur too. She's a cosmetologist, started her own business. So the dream has always been around me, and I've always been inspired by that. And I've been around people to show me how to navigate through the system and just keep your dreams at the forefront and just keep moving forward.
So I was joking with you earlier about upgrading from Philip O'Berry as a head coach to going to Independence High School. You're assistant baseball coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and if you guys don't know, listen to the show. Independence High School is really known nationally for the athletics.
Right.
So talk about the importance of coaching and mentorship in the lives of young males.
Okay. I was at Philip O'Berry for 4 years. Enjoyed my time there. I was a head baseball coach and site coordinator for communities and schools there as well. But a lot of relationships with my students that they still come back and ask me questions about life. And when they call me and just say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" It means a lot to me. I chose to make the transition to Independence because I wanted to see the difference of size of Charlotte. I believe that Charlotte is just very segregated, and I don't think it's. It may be systematic, it may be intentional, but I just think that people like to stay in their own little pockets of Charlotte. So I wanted to see what the difference was between West Charlotte and East Charlotte. So West Charlotte has this bad stigma. But when I was at Philip O'Berry, I saw the kids do a lot of great things. When I was at J.T. Williams, I saw the kids do a lot of great things. But it just got overshadowed by the black cloud, I guess they want to say, that's hanging over West Charlotte. So when I went to East Charlotte, I was shocked and surprised that some of the same things happened over there. And I was just also shocked and surprised that there wasn't too many black males who looked like myself that was there that could relate to the other black males at Independence High School. So I made it my business to, have the monthly student meetings, my monthly male meetings with my students. Every month we talked about different life issues. We talked about the 5 states of readiness. We talked about some of the social issues that had just taken place. I think the shooting of who was the kid? See, it's been so many. I got to think back. But I think it was either Eric Garner that got choked to death, or it was the guy Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, and then the kid he was in Charlotte that went to Florida A&M who got shot by the police officer. So we talked about that, and the kids are just so enraged about, man, they don't even care about our life, that they gave up hope. And I truly believe when you take away hope from a child, when you take away their purpose, they'll do anything because they don't care about anything. When you give them a hope, when you give them a purpose for their life, they start making quality decisions with their life. So I made it my purpose I'm going to try to find each male, help them find their true purpose for living this life. Any way I can, talk to them every week, show them a video, expose them to different opportunities, whether it's a college tour, a job shadow, and something to get these kids to want to dream and to want to have something in their life. Not to say they had to be a career, but they had to strive for something. They had to find a purpose for something so that they can stop making bad decisions day after day.
Why do you think that's so important to have a purpose?
Because if you don't have a purpose, well, you just existing. I don't think you're living. You just here going day to day, passing time by. You're not striving for something. I think God made us all to be relational. I think he made us all for a purpose. Jeremiah 29:11. I'm a big believer in that. So
what is that, Jeremiah 29:11?
He said, I know the plans that I have for you, plans of a hope and plans of a future. And, without that hope that that you have a future, what are you doing in the present? I look at it like this. I'm living in the present because I know God has something for me in the future, and everything in the past is working together for my good. So if you don't believe that, what are you believing? You know what I mean? So when the kid tell me he doesn't believe in that, I'm just here. Oh man, it makes my heart break because I wondering what is he or she believing, like what's going through their head day to day. Do they think they're a mistake? You know what? I mean, it's just hard for me to fathom you living life without a purpose. And I think that's when we created the program Know Your Why, which is now our mental breakout session during the men's summit. Yep.
Tell me about time you went. What are the five? What you call them? The five
states of readiness.
Yeah, the 5 states of readiness. Tell me a little bit more about
the
those.
5 states of readiness again is the spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and the financial states of readiness of becoming a man. And just to go through each one. Spiritual, that's our panel discussion that we have at our men's summit, and that's called Trust the Process. Everybody goes through a process in life, whether you want to admit it or not. I've been through something to get me to this point. You've been through something to get you to this point. That's your process. And sooner or later, you're going to have to decide to trust it. I got to trust the process that I'm on. I wanted to be a professional baseball player growing up. You weren't going to tell me that I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player. Today, I am not a professional baseball player. I'm a coach at the high school level, and I coach some showcase and travel ball. And I had to look back and had to reflect and be like, okay, how did I get to this point? God's trying to tell me something. Okay, I wanted something. I went after it. I worked hard at it. I didn't get it, which is okay. But, I worked hard at it, and I ended up here. What's the reason for that? What's the purpose? Why did I go through that process? I have to make the decision to trust it. Mm-hmm. So that's why we call it trust the process. The mental, as I mentioned, is know your why, know your purpose, basically. You have a purpose for living, that mental purpose. Without that mental focus that you have a purpose for your life, what decisions are you making? I believe that, again, you give a child a purpose for their life, they make better decisions with their life. The emotional piece is so big. That's our Men Against Domestic Violence. We call that MADV. And addressing some of the key topics that's been going on in society with males and female abuse and child abuse, talking about those different situations. How do they find themselves in them situations, and what do you do if you happen to find yourself in those situations? How do you be proactive and keep yourself out that situation? How do you react in that situation to where you can de-escalate it and not get it to that level? And what do you do if you witness a situation? Who are the proper people to call? Why is it important to call? Because hitting women is just wrong. Ain't no way around that for a man to hit a woman. I don't care how angry she may have you. You got to find a way to separate yourself from that situation. And the other part of the emotion is a stand your ground piece, dealing with the males and how to interact with the police officer if you find yourself in that situation as well. Know that there are certain laws out there that protect the police, which allows them to do this and get away with it. And you have to know that going in too. So if you're in a situation, the best thing for you to do is just be compliant. And then let's win that battle once we get you a lawyer. After, not in the situation, you're going to always lose that battle. There's no way around it. And we let our kids know that they feel angry at first. We understand your anger. I'm angry too. I was 14 years old and got racially profiled by a police officer. Threw on the hood of the car, put in handcuffs because I fit the description of somebody who robbed a store. Now, why would I rob a store and go sit at my sister's softball game in broad daylight? I mean, I hope I wouldn't be that dumb, but I was racially profiled and I had to deal with that. But we want to teach our males how to handle those situations if ever put into it. It's not the situation itself that you're going to win at that moment. You win that battle afterwards. Once you get to the police station, if they take you in, once you call a lawyer, once you call us to come advocate for you, that's when you win that battle, not in that situation. So just be compliant. Do what they tell you to do. Somebody gonna capture you on camera. That's the good thing about the day. It's been going on for a long time, but today, man, we got these cameras in place, and that's really showing the truth about how police officers do sometimes racially profile our black males. But I also want to say, that there are some good police officers out there. I know a lot of them. They come out to the men's summit. They come talk to them about how to handle those situations. So we do want to thank those who are out there who took that oath to protect and serve, who are really doing that. But we also can't deny that there are some social injustices going on as well. And the last one that we like to talk about is our financial piece, and we call this outside the lines. Because for many black males, that's just what it is. It's not a common conversation inside the household. And we want to teach them that, there are careers outside of athletics. And then we want to show them how to go about really managing your money once you get there, how to say no to some of your friends who may be trying to say, man, I was with you throughout the whole time. Yeah, okay, well, I can show you how to make the same progression that I made. I'm just not going to give you a handout. So people say, bring a man to fish, you eat for a day. Show a man how to fish, you eat for a lifetime. That's the same concept that we take. We don't want to feel like you want to accept no handout. We don't want you to be comfortable being on food stamps, stuff like that. If you have to be, we understand. But we want you to understand how to provide for yourself, how to build generational wealth for you and your parents. I attended a workshop with one of my mentors, Mr. Henry Rock, who is over the City Startup Labs here in Charlotte. And he had a staggering statistic. He said for blacks to close the wealth gap down on whites here in America, it'll take 228 years for us to close that gap of things being equal. That means I'm not even going to be here to see it. I'm just a step in the right direction. So we got to get, our youth to understand that you just step in the right direction too. If you don't get your stuff together about how to handle your money properly, that 228 years is going to turn to 300. We're going to go backwards instead of moving forward. So getting them just to understand all those 5 states, man, has just been a big part of why we do what we do, why we're so passionate. Because, as a man, taking away the mentoring piece from it, me and if one of those areas of off, my life can be out of balance easily. If my finances and my mental is up because I'm worried, I might not make the best decision. I'm not praying like I should, so my spiritual off because I'm so worried about my financial piece. If my health is off, which is our physical breakout session we call Train Like a Pro, we use sports as the draw for our students. And then we have a professional athletic trainer come in and train them just like a professional athlete would, so they can get that experience. Do you really think you can make it in college? Like, do you really think this is what you want to do? And most of the students love it because they never felt that type of adrenaline rush from working out like that. And they used to go in there and lifting a few weights, stuff like that. But we get them in that real professional training that's going to get you better. So if your health is off, that can throw off a lot. You're worried about, how you going to take care of your family because I'm sitting up in the hospital bed. I mean, all them things got to be balanced. Those 5 states of readiness have to be balanced for you to really be a man and take care of what you got to take care of. And we truly believe to be successful in the real world.
I like that a lot, man. I like the 5 states of readiness. It sounds like every business book I read before it at the same time, so it relates right back to entrepreneurship, right? So, I mean, you're teaching these kids not only how to be better men, but how to live life as an entrepreneur, So, like, do you ever have any kids who are entrepreneurial or, trying to start their own business, and how do you mentor them?
A lot of them are entrepreneurial. I have a few students who want to open up their own clothing line. I have a student who wants to open up his own shoe store where he is getting shoes and reselling them and things of that nature. So it's a lot of different ideas out there.
So how do you guide them? Like, what advice do you give them?
So with me and Curtis Walls, who was, my business partner with Time University, well, one of our business partners, and me and him went through the City Startup Labs Entrepreneurship Academy here in Charlotte. And one of our mentees in the program came to me, Mr. Kinard, man, I got this idea. I want you to help nurture it. So I came and sat down. We met. We talked about what you got to do. I showed him the website to go through to get incorporated. I said, this is the first step. You get incorporated. You get an EIN number. Now you can open up a bank account in your name. Now once you start producing these products, you can have money going into the bank account, and you can you can separate those funds to where they're not, overlapping, and you don't know how much money you made because I'm saying I'm going to get his. And so without a doubt, so showed him about that. I took him to the City Startup Lab pitch, which is about a month or so ago. Let him hear how to map out a business plan to take to investors. So that was big for him. I bought him the Phil Knight Shoe Dog memoir, so he can hear about how Nike was started. This ain't an easy. This is not an easy road that you're choosing to go down. I mean, this is not just making a T-shirt, putting a screen print on it, and think people gonna buy it. You got to really set up a strategy to get your brand in front of people and make people want to buy your brand. You got to associate your brand with being a quality product. So we talked about all that stuff right there, man. And the one thing that motivated me, he stood in there and took it. Like he didn't get discouraged at all. So one of the things is being a counselor, a coach here in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and other youth. The youth are so discouraged by the system. They're discouraged by the process. When they see all the red tape they got to go through after they express the dream they have, they lose hope. Man, I don't want to do all that. I'm just going to go work for somebody. This is what I always tell them. Those who fail to govern themselves will be governed by others. And so if you're not disciplined enough to govern yourself, I have a meeting every second and fourth Monday with my job. So my entrepreneurship, with my company, I make sure I meet with myself every first and third Monday. If I'm going to meet with them, I got to be able to govern myself and put my own self under some hours and say, okay, every first and third Monday, I'm going to sit down with myself and have this meeting about, okay, what's my plan for the next 2 weeks? And then what's my plan to close out the month? It has to be that way. So in your job, I'm not discouraging people from having a job, but if you do have that drive to want to start something on your own, just like they mandates and they govern you with with rules and hours, you should do the same thing for yourself with your own business as well. So I just teach them the importance of that, having that drive, putting the system in place, and submitting to that system, because without a system, you don't get nothing done. School, that's a system. It's a weeding out process. So we got to see how much you really want it. We got to put you in these courses that may not be, the most relevant, but they're teaching you something. It's something that you can get out of that course, and you got to go in there and get it out. But our students are so worried about survival. Man, my mama lights got turned off. Why I got to learn geometry? What's this periodic table going to do for me, when my dad's not at home? I'm in school for 8 hours. Mr. Kinard, I get taught for about an hour or so. Then I'm going back into my environment for the rest of the day. So when they come back to school, I got to undo or redo what I just did yesterday, but I understand that it's a process and I trust it. And I'm just trying to get them to trust the process as well. Yeah.
So what's and then after this we'll move on to the lightning round. But so what's the biggest roadblock that you see these kids have, especially entrepreneurial kids? But what do they have between wanting to do something more and actually taking that action? What's the biggest struggle they have?
I just think they lose hope. Like I said, that system. When they see how much red tape they got to go through to really make their dream come to fruition, they stop and they give up hope. Denzel Washington has this speech on YouTube. He was talking to a group of actors, and he says, dreams are just that, dreams. Dreams without goals are just dreams. And he said, to make your dreams come true, dreams on the way to achievement, between those two, there's discipline and consistency. You got to be disciplined and you got to be consistent about working through that system each and every day. And he said, dreams without goals ultimately fuel disappointment. So I allow what I'm saying about kids losing hope. They go out there and try this dream, but they're not consistent. They're not disciplined enough. They don't want to go through the system. So now they're disappointed. And what does disappointment breed? Violence, stealing, drugs, settling for what life just gives you, hopelessness. So it's all that stuff is a example of people not being willing to go through the system, not being willing to be disciplined or consistent enough. And then you throw racism on top of that in some situations. I mean, it's tough to open your eyes and say, I want to get up and continue to go. But I know I have to be that inspiration for my students. I can't get discouraged, or I can't show them that I get discouraged. And if I do get discouraged, I got to get up and keep going. I got to keep going for myself, because I know for me, it's bigger than me. If I make it about myself, I would have been quit, But it's so much bigger than Jamall Kinard. me and Curtis, man, we talk about just being an inspiration to the masses. It's like we got to be out here and we got to really inspire. It ain't about being famous. That's the furthest thing from my mind. It's about when I leave here, did I make the world better than it was when I got here? Did I help make black right again? Because it seems so wrong. It's just, for all the years they just associate black with, everything that's wrong. But did I move us as a black race in the right direction? So it's so much bigger than just me being tired, being busy. That's why I keep going. I got to tell my family that, my friends that, look, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than me. I have to plan to make time for them. But when I'm not, and they know that I'm busy, they know that, Jamall has a purpose for his life. He's fulfilling his mission, man, and he's trying to make sure that when he leaves this earth, that, my nephews, whenever I have kids, the youth that I'm mentoring, they have more opportunities than they had today. Potential is universal. Opportunity is not. And I think we got to change that.
Well, we'll switch over to the lightning round real quick. Okay. It's lightning round, just a quick session where, you can answer these questions anyway, as long as it's short as you want to. Okay. Just rapid fire. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, first question, like, what's your favorite book?
Oh man, right now, The Seat of the Soul. Yes, sir.
Who's that by and what's it about?
Gary Gustav. It talks about the difference between authentic power and I want to say authentic power is the power within you and external power. And, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I just plainly put, man, and relying more on that strength from the inside than that strength from the outside. Us as males, you want to be buff. We want to be the run fastest and have the most money and drive the best car, live in the biggest house. But in that book, he helps you understand that it ain't about all that. He said, man, if you fulfilling the purpose that your soul is here to fulfill, if you focus on that, that all this stuff is be given to you, But when you focus on gaining all this stuff, what happens to your inside? What happens to your soul, basically? And reading that book, man, it takes you through. It's like a roller coaster because it's gonna show you yourself. I mean, that's one thing it's gonna do. And he said when you reach for your deepest, when you deal with your deepest issues, you reach for your highest self. And man, that's one thing that just stood out to me. So my favorite book right now, or the last book that I read that I really enjoyed, was The Seat of the Soul. But I read a lot, but that was probably one of the last one I read that I really stood out to me.
All right, I'll link it up in the show notes on the site. So what's a quote that you live your life by?
Oh man,
I know you got a lot.
I got so many, so many. But right now I can really say that it's been Denzel Washington and Eric Thomas who made the biggest impact as far as like little quotes and metaphor lines that I can use. Yeah, man. And the one I said earlier about Denzel saying that you got to be disciplined and consistent. I got that on my mirror in the morning. I heard this young lady tell me that she considered herself to be a daughter of a king, saying she's the daughter of God, I'm a daughter of the king. So that tells me how I should act. So I also tell myself that I'm a son of a king every morning since I heard that. And then I think taken from Eric Thomas, he said about submit to systems. So I think my formula for life right now is that trust the process, learn the system, and now you get to have options. I hate school, but I love options, and going to school, getting the education, as far as you can take your education, the more options that you will have. And I think that's just something that I'm living by right now as I'm pursuing my master's in sports leadership. Man, I hate school because I feel like I learn something each and every day. But it's that system that I got to go through that I'm like, man, do I really got to go through all this? I may hate going to school, but I love options. And if I really want to make the change that I want to make here in the world, I got to do what I got to do. I got to go through that system in order for me to have options and different avenues to be able to affect that change today.
Okay. I like the concept of saying that I'm the son of a king, or I'm the son of God, because it changes your perspective, right?
Changes your whole perspective.
Like if you imagine yourself as being the son of even President Obama, not
That's
Luther
right.
King or God, but President Obama or somebody
right.
else that's really high up.
That's right.
It'll change your whole perspective on what you expect out of life.
It'll change how you act, change your expectation. It'll change you before you make that decision. You're gonna say, man, what will my daddy say about this? You know, and still to this day, before I make that decision, I mean, my mama, man, my mama and my daddy. What would my mama and my daddy say about this I'm about to do? And if they gonna give me a bad report, hey, most of the time I'm not gonna do it. You know, I make some decisions now that I'm a grown man and I can make my own decisions. But Larry and Brenda Kinard still, their voice still ring in the back of my mind. Say, boy, don't do that. So, and I love them for the way they raised me, man. And I want to say I'm truly thankful now that I work in the school. How important it is to have both parents in the household working together. I don't think it's just having both parents in the household. They was a true team. And I don't agree with everything they did to raise us, but if I look at the final product right now, where I'm at as a man, I got to say, man, I'm truly thankful for that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next question. There's a concept like Pareto's principle, right? 80-20 rule. So, 20% of the actions you take create 80% of the outcomes, the results. So what is the 80-20 in coaching, and what's the 80-20 for the kids in your?
I say it's more 90-10, 10-90. I'll say life is only 10%. The other 90% is how you react to it. Everything that happens to you, okay. In the book City of the Soul, he said it's all an illusion. He said everything that may happen in your life is just an illusion to teach your soul a lesson. And it's all about how you choose to react to it. So I look at life, I'm like, okay, I'm in this situation. What am I supposed to learn from this? Now, I ain't gonna act like I'm not human. I don't do that in the situation all the time. Sometimes my emotions, I get frustrated, I get happy. I'm a human. But my thing that I do each and every night, I take time to reflect. I'm gonna sit back and say, okay, what was I supposed to learn in this day? And how I do that, man, is not just I'm sitting there by myself. It's me reading these self-improvement books, these daily devotionals, things of that nature, that challenges me to reflect on that kind of stuff. So I would say, life is only 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react, and especially in coaching. And I would say, preparation is key. How you prepare for the game, for life. I can't tell you I'm going to go out here and be an entrepreneur if I'm not preparing myself to go out here and be successful throughout my week. It's not just a checklist. Okay, what am I saying I'm going to do, and what am I allowing time to happen? Because as much as planning as I do, I can never expect or be prepared for everything that happens. I got to have that buffer too. So I can try my best to stay on that timeline as much as possible, but I understand that the world works the way it does. There's certain things that are going to happen that I had no clue that was going to happen, and how am I going to choose to react to that? How am I going to adjust? I always tell my guys at the plate when they're hitting, make the adjustment. Make the adjustment. So life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you react.
Okay. All right. So on a lighter note, if you had any superpower, what would it be?
Man, I'll say, man, if I could be my two favorite superhero, concepts, I'll say one is Batman, because he was a regular person. He really didn't have no superpowers, but he had the heart of a lion, And one thing that always stands out to me when I'm making a decision in life, the last part of the Batman trilogy, I think Dark Knight Rise or something like that. I forgot the name of the movie, but he's in that prison, and there's an open at the top, and he's trying to jump with the rope, and he's like, man, how did that one prisoner get out of here? And the doctor that was blind, he was like, you got to jump without the rope. He like, you either gonna die in here or die trying to get out. And I take that to my grave. I'm either die trying to make a difference, but I'm not gonna die with everything remaining the same. Nah, it ain't gonna happen. I'm just not gonna sit here and just say it is what it is and just die. No, man, no, sir. I'm going to die trying to make a difference. And whenever that time comes, whoever that person is or whatever that situation is, they gonna know that he's willing to lay his life down for this. And my other superhero concept is the Ninja Turtles, man. Growing up, that was my dudes right there.
Which one would you be?
I thought I was a Ninja Turtle, man. I think I consider myself to have a little bit of all of them, man. Mikey was the little party guy.
Yeah.
I like to have a good time. Ralph had a heart of a lion.
Yeah.
Leonardo was the leader, kind
Yeah.
of stubborn leader, and Donatello was the brains of the operation.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider myself to have a little bit of all of them, man. But the one that stood out to me, the two that stood out to me were Leonardo and Raphael.
Okay.
How they are both leaders, but Ralph led with his heart, and Leonardo led with his mind. And I think sometimes as people, you got to choose which one that you're going to let lead. And sometimes when you all heart, it can lead you down the wrong path, because you can just be so passionate. And when you all mental, you can get to relate to people. So those are two that I think about a lot, Ralph and Leonardo.
As much as I love the Ninja Turtles, I never thought about them that deep, man. I never thought about them that deep, man. So I appreciate that. You opened my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, no
okay,
doubt.
all right.
No doubt.
All right, so I think that it is out, round us out, man. So Ben and this is like Entrepreneur Mastermind Podcast, right? How can we help you?
Man, we're always looking for different volunteers and, to put these free summers on for these students, man, for these male students. It costs. So, if you want to donate, please go to our website, www.time2empower.com.
Is that the number 2 or the letter?
No, T-O, the word,
okay.
TIMETOEMPOWER.com. You can go there, check out any of the upcoming events we have coming up. You can also follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at time2empower.com. And you can find us our fan page on Facebook at Time University and Time Foundation on Facebook, man. But we love any support you may have. If y'all are ever in Charlotte and want to come out to some of our events, just check the website. If you're happy to be here around the same time, don't hesitate to let us know at info@time2empower.com. You send an email, we can get that, and we can let you know. And just if you want us to come speak at an engagement, we do that too. We come out, we're speakers. If you're in a different city and you feel like what we have can help benefit some of the young male students there, we welcome to do that too. So find us on social media, hit up our website, man, contact us, and we'll be glad to help. But any donations that you're willing to give to the cause, man, we definitely appreciate it.
All right. Sounds
Thank you,
good,
man.
man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for being on the show, man. Appreciate it.